Hi, I'm Kevin Harrington. I'm an original shark from the hit television show Shark Tank. And with me today is PJ. PJ, an entrepreneur, my man. It's great to have you here today. You have one of the most unusual businesses, one of the most unique businesses in America. There's a big problem in today's world with police officers, and when they arrest people, there's close to 50% or more of the people that are getting arrested have some kind of a physical or emotional disability, right? Yeah. And so you have set up a business to train police departments and police officers on how to deal with these disabilities and during arrests, right?
Yeah, this is absolutely true. My current city that I'm working with called me 5 days after the most recent shooting.
Right.
They shot a physically disabled man in the back. It was an unfortunate situation.
Yeah.
But listen, the police officer really didn't have any kind of training, and he didn't activate his firearm until there was somebody else that was threatened and in danger. And so
you turn the TV on and you see one after another all over the country, these things happening. So
I have probably nearly 1,000 or nearly 100 case studies.
100 case studies.
Yeah,
you're looking at, right?
Not so ideal outcomes between physically disabled suspects and law enforcement.
Yeah.
And this is not to make anybody wrong, right? Because if a physically disabled suspect were to be compliant, then the officer wouldn't have any problems with them.
Right.
But that's not always the situation in the case. As you know, as well as I do, there's a lot of homeless people out there that do have a particular disability physically and also emotionally or mentally.
Right, sure.
Yeah, and so we want to make sure that officers are as safe as possible, because this is a real honor to work
both
with.
Sides, right?
100%.
Yeah. Now, you have an awesome background. I want you just to tell the folks out there a little of the history of yourself.
All right, little history. I've been speaking since I was 7 years old. Not like speaking from stage.
From stage. Okay.
Actually speaking, in fact, you and I shared a stage in 2007.
We did, yes. Yeah.
So I've been speaking since I was 7, and I've trained in I've trained in martial arts since 97.
Right.
87.
87.
I've been training and teaching since 97.
Martial arts.
Yeah. Combat martial art.
Yeah.
And I've also, despite my physical disability and the fact that I can't lift my arms, I can't move my body's basically on vacation.
Right.
Okay. I always like to joke and say that I'm a talking head. But despite the fact that my arms and legs don't work, I still have a lot of military and law enforcement training as a civilian. And I love that kind of thing. So, and I've trained, when active shooters came on board, like in the early 90s, or late 90s rather, I was walking through corporations in Tucson, Arizona, doing walkthroughs to do assessments and training for corporations on how to handle active shooters.
Right.
So there's nobody better trained in the United States than I am. And in fact, this is a completely unique program. Nowhere else in the United States is it being taught.
I said it's
nowhere else in the world.
Unique businesses I've heard of. And so what kind of challenges do the police officers face when they're dealing with arresting somebody that happens to be disabled? Sometimes they may not know, right? So, but what other challenges, are you dealing with when you're training these officers and dealing with the whole situation?
Well, if we're really honest, a lot of people don't have physically disabled people in their life. So they don't know how to communicate with them.
Right.
They don't know how to even physically touch them, or if they're allowed to touch them.
Yeah.
So we break that barrier. I've got a team of disabled people that come to the training, and we break out into different subgroups and breakout sessions so that they can get hands-on work with physically disabled people with different kind of mobility devices. We do searching, we do control and cuffing. We just make sure that we've covered the gambit to make sure that every possible outcome or scenario that they might come in contact with a physically disabled suspect, they've got some background and training in it.
Right.
I was the guy that 5 days after the most recent shooting, I got the call and they said, hey, we think that we have a blind spot in our training department and we think you can fix it. I took that very, very seriously, because now we're talking about saving lives.
Yeah.
And that's critical. Why? You don't become a cop because you want to take a life.
Yeah.
You become a cop because you want to protect it.
You want to protect
right? And I want to be there to support officers.
Right.
Because they're heroes to me. I actually have tingles up my spine right now
Yeah.
when I think about them as heroes. And the fact that I now get to work with them, are you kidding me? That's a real honor.
And they want to do the right thing, right?
100%.
You know,
Absolutely.
and I mean that's why they're there serving all of us, right? Protecting all of us. They're risking their life every day.
Every day they put on that shield.
Yeah.
Right? Every day they put on that shield.
Yeah.
They're voluntarily stepping in harm's way.
The most awesome thing is that when you bring the disabled people for them to work with, this is a hands-on experience. So they're learning instantly, right? You know, this is as good as it gets, right? It's not theory, it's not virtual, it's right there, hands-on. That's awesome. That makes you different than anybody else, but you're in such a unique position. There's nobody really competing heavily against you.
There's nobody.
Right.
As far as I'm aware, and I've had several officers and procurement departments and police departments tell me flat out, there's no one else teaching this.
Will you be able to scale this?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
So you, as the entrepreneur running this, you'll have you can go geographically into, like, right now. What parts of the world are you involved with? West Coast? Or?
We're working with some Southern Arizona police departments.
Right.
And then we're already communicating with San Diego. We're communicating with Waco, Texas.
There you go.
Right. So we're expanding out, and we're now finding people are reaching out to us.
Yeah.
And so that's really good.
And they should, because when you pick up the paper, there's another shooting, there's another problem, there's another issue. Yeah. There's some great connections. I mean, you could pretty much just watch the news and you can get clients from that, unfortunately, right?
Well, honestly, that is a way that I reach out to police departments. If I see that something didn't go well, I'm able to call them and say, hey, what is the way that you handle this right now?
Right.
How are your officers trained for this kind of scenario?
Right.
And the vast majority of time, they say, well, we don't have that kind of training.
Right.
Again, completely unique.
Yeah.
No one else is teaching it.
So you've seen some great transformations, I guess, with police officers understanding
100%.
this process, right?
Yeah, the past 3 classes that I've taught, I had a 30-year vet who is the hiring manager say, this is the best class we've ever had, the
That's
best
awesome.
training we've ever had. I had a 27-year-old vet, or not 27-year-old, but a
27 years veteran, right? Yeah.
Yeah, police officer, still functioning. And he's also, said, this is the best class we've ever had, best training we've ever had.
That's awesome.
Because, I'm a little dude in a wheelchair. I can't lift my arms, but I'm going to make these cops do it again and again and again until they get it right.
There you go.
Because I want to make sure they come home safe.
You have a program. They got to learn the program. You got to
Absolutely.
teach it the way it has to be done, right?
Absolutely.
And that keeps them safe, as you said, right?
Yeah.
Both sides.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah. And awareness is a big piece of this, right?
Yeah.
They don't know what they don't know.
Right.
And so when they come through the training, they're like, wow, I didn't know about this, and we didn't know about that. This is amazing. This was so helpful.
Right.
Yeah. So it's been absolutely incredibly rewarding for both me as well as the police departments.
Yeah. And you have this team of folks that are part of your group that you come in, you educate, you train, go from one to the next, 3 classes recently. There's got to be some people out there right now that are listening to us and they're saying, wow, I got to get a hold of PJ because they've never heard of anything like this. And this is in demand. And so I know that you're going to do awesome in your business as you expand this, because there's so many police departments in the United States that need this, that it's going to be a question of you having the capabilities to get out to all of them eventually. But for those that are listening right now, what would you say, as they're maybe thinking about working with you, what would you offer them in terms of some advice?
Right now, there's no training that is helping your officers understand how to work with physically disabled suspects. And if you don't have this training, then it may cost the city a lot of money if there's a lawsuit. Unfortunately, when these kinds of situations occur, nobody wins. And you as officers and training departments know far better than I do that people get hurt and jobs are lost and relationships break up. And the worst part is that your officer could be charged with manslaughter. That's terrible. We don't want that to happen. And there's a loss of life. and families mourn them. So what I would say is give me a call, because we can solve the problem that you have and make things much better for your officers and much safer for your community.
Awesome. So you heard it here. PJ has given you the overview. He's developed an awesome training program that's being used currently by police departments in various parts of the United States. This is a successful, tried and proven system. And you've seen it. You've seen the magical transformations. And I just want to say, if anyone out there needs any help in this area, it costs nothing to track down PJ, and he can give you all the details of how he can help you in your situation. So, PJ, it's awesome having you here today again.
It's always a pleasure to see you.
And let's do another stage event together.
Absolutely.
In the near future. Okay?
Absolutely. I'm on.
All right.
Let's do it.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank
Take
you.
care.